Okay, that brings us to the really useful part of it, the tips for you guys. So what you can really do to help your search engine optimization and to really help your website rank. So the first thing I really say to all of my clients is consider your objectives. Really know what it is that you want to achieve. For example, what type of leads are going to bring you the best return on investment? You know, there's no point ranking for the word health. If you're a personal trainer, you really want to be focusing on what it is that you do. You don't want just a lot of random leads coming in and not converting. So you really need to focus on what's going to bring you the best return on investment. What sort of customer are you targeting? What sort of person are they? Are they a managing director? Are they an admin person? What sort of industry are they in? And also, what words would they use? You may call it search engine optimization, but they might call it online marketing or marketing my business on the web. So you really need to use the terms that they use to really get to the end user. And also think about your desired audience. When they come to you, why are they going to choose you? What makes you different? What makes your business unique? And what makes you stand out from others in your industry? Also, you've got to think about user intent. So really, what does your user want to get from the site once they come in there? So what it needs to do is it needs to really meet the user search. So if you're ranking for something like health, like I said, and people are coming through and it's not relevant to their search, what you're going to find is when you look at your results, you have a high bounce rate and you don't have people actually converting to your inquiry form. So you've got to have everything marry up, the keywords that you're targeting, the type of content you're offering, the type of business that you are, and also if you are ranking quite highly and you can't actually service any of those clients because you're not big enough and you don't have the resources, it's also a problem. Cool. The other thing is create your content around what users want. So even the way that you label pages on your website, make it about them. So if you're a finance company, finance can be a little bit boring. You might want to have something like your money or your dreams, or just making it a little bit more engaging as to what it is that they want to achieve. And videos are good too. For a lot of industries, videos, people are really used to having their mobiles in front of them, getting information really quickly. Some people, you'd say, have become a little bit lazy, but they're not wanting to read through lots of content, so it's also good to back that up with other media. That brings me to content. So thinking about what sort of content you want on your website, be original. Make sure that your content's unique. I don't know how many websites I've read and it says, we're a quality supplier of blah, blah, blah. Make it a little bit unique, make it eye-catchy, make it something that people actually want to read. And what do others say? I mean, it's better for other people to talk about your business rather than talk about yourself. So, if I meet with a client, I could stand there and say, oh, X is wonderful, X is amazing. But if I can show them one of my clients saying that, it's so much stronger than me saying it. So that's really something to consider. And be dynamic as well. You want a reason for people to actually come back to your website. Have something new and fresh that they really want to engage with. You become the resource. You become one of those websites that that people will visit regularly to keep up to date with the industry. And also, I mentioned earlier about reducing repetition of keywords. You no longer have to say, we are the best manufacturing of plastics in Perth. We are manufacturers of plastic in WA. We are plastic manufacturers. You don't need to put the keywords in there so many times. And you also need to keep it down, like I said, to 1%. Stand out, like I said, the About Us pages can start to look the same. Quality supplier, quality service provider. Make it a little bit different. Now, there is something in there called Schema Markup. What that means basically is when people are searching, as I mentioned, videos can come up, your website will come up, etc. If you can, say, have a blog with an image, sometimes when people Google, your image and your write-up from your blog will come up, and every other listing will just be a normal listing, so you'll stand out. So it's another thing to consider. And here's my example at the bottom. We offer quality service. We offer 24/7 service and guarantee a response the same business day. So adding something that's really unique to you guys rather than to stand out from your competitors. So this is the example I was talking about blogs. So we did say that, in the last stats, that generally most people will look towards the top of the Google page. But if you have a blog listing like that where you have an image, people's eye level movements will move down there. So this basically, all the colouring on there represents eye level movements. It's something that we analyse not just in search, but we also analyse with our clients' websites. where people's eye movements go and where their eyes stop to actually make a decision. So that's interesting. That it's not just about location on the first page, but it's the quality of the information that's on the first page of Google. Because you might skip past those few companies and go to the blogs. Okay, I actually put in some questions in there, so this is probably something to consider internally when you're writing a news article. This came directly from a Google employee, Amit Singer. Basically, some of the questions to ask yourself when you're writing content, when you're writing articles. So, would you trust the information presented in the article that you've written? Is it written by someone knowledgeable, or is it more? Are there duplicate, overlapping, or redundant articles? Do you have 5 articles about how air conditioning can improve your home? Does the article have any spelling errors? Is it factual? Is it supported by any large organisations or Australian Bureau of Statistics? Anything that's credible in there? So just quite a lot of things to consider when you're writing articles. He's also got another list of questions as well. So basically along the lines of, does the content actually seem like a genuine article? Or does it seem like it was written overseas and it's just basically got content slapped together and copied from many websites? So it's not just about having articles on your website, it's about having quality articles. There's another aspect called linking. So we talked about reciprocal linking, linking to other websites and having them link to you. It's called barnacle SEO. What it basically means is it's much better to have good websites linking to you rather than your website linking out. You want you to be the end source for those people, the end place that they end up. So what you need to ask is, well, Google likes lots of good links. It also likes if websites with good page ranks are linking to you. So in the JCPenney example, yeah, it was great that universities were linking to them, but it wasn't a useful link. So in your business, you've got to ask yourself a few questions. Are you part of any associations, accredited bodies, or professional groups? If you are, and you can get them to link to you, that's going to help your website, especially if they're a .org, and especially if they've got a higher page rank than, say, 4 out of 10. And by the way, you can find out page rank that you can download a little tool. You can actually Google it. Download PageRank for Google Chrome, or download PageRank tool for Firefox, and it'll come up with a little button at the top. It'll tell you the page rank for every page you go to. The other thing is, are you involved, do you do any dealings with the government? Is there any way that the government can list you? Because a .gov or a .edu domain name is very powerful in the eyes of Google, so if they're linking to you, that's fantastic. And then think about also what comes up for Google searches in your industry. Are there any alliances out there? Any suppliers or anyone that can list you on their website quite prominently? Ask them. The best way is just to ask them and see if they will link to you. So basically all they need to do is just have a straight link, maybe have your logo with a hyperlink to your website. So the other thing that you need to consider with SEO, if you have a website that's broken down or it's really slow to load, it's clunky, it has issues in the code, it's going to affect your rankings. Google doesn't want to bring people to a website that's not working. So some of the things you need to consider is the site speed. I don't know how many businesses I've met with, and we do analytics on their website, and the page speed is really slow, has like a fail. And that doesn't help with Google, and it also puts users off. I'm pretty bad with that. If I go to a website and it takes forever to load, I can just give up and just go to the next site. Meta tags. So people used to think it was really important a while ago, but it's still kind of important. It's just not as important as it used to be. But your meta tags should closely match the content of your page. And your meta tags really is behind the scenes of your website. It's sort of the thing that your web developer or your internal person will put into the back end of the website to tell Google what it's about. So when you Google something and you go to the front page of Google, it sometimes has that little description there. That's part of the meta tag or meta description for the website. And labeling. It's not good if you have a website and you've got lots of images on there and you've got lots of things on there, but they're not labeled properly in the eyes of Google. So you can actually label pictures and give them a description behind the scenes so that Google can read them. The other thing in line with Pigeon is to really consider the local directories. So making sure that your website is listed on all the relevant local directories. And also be tracking your own rankings. A lot of people will go to their website and say to us, look, our website's ranking really well, but they forget that it's saved in their cache, their user data. So what you need to do is you need to log out of Google if you're logged into it, and you need to clear the history and then search some of the keywords and see if your website still ranks. Social media as well is a really big part of your search engine optimization and making you rank, because your social media, it's really, like I said, it's like a 9 out of 10 for Facebook in the eyes of Google. So if you're having links coming through from Facebook to your website, it's really good. Depending on your industry, it might not be relevant for every industry, but there's always an alternative. So there's LinkedIn, there's Pinterest, there's a lot of different social media out there, and we'll be talking about that in the second half.